Heated debate erupts in Parliament. Starmer faces tough questions over policy shifts. In a dramatic turn of events during a parliamentary session this week, Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer found himself at the centre of a tense exchange that has sparked widespread discussion across the political spectrum. The session, focused on policy changes and the cost of living crisis, quickly escalated into a fiery back and forth between party leaders, highlighting growing tensions as the UK edges closer to a general election. As Prime Minister Rishi Sunak pressed the Labour leader on his shifting positions regarding key economic and immigration policies, Starmer's typically composed demeanour appeared noticeably strained. The exchanges, though not uncommon in the robust environment of British parliamentary politics, stood out for their intensity and the sharp scrutiny placed on Starmer's recent strategic pivots. Let's take a closer look at what happened, why it matters, and how different sides are interpreting the moment. The central point of contention revolved around Labour's evolving stance on issues such as tax policy, nationalisation, and immigration controls. In recent months, Starmer has made several strategic adjustments, some say to broaden Labour's appeal to centrist voters, others claim to avoid alienating traditional supporters. During Prime Minister's Questions, PMQs, Sunak accused Starmer of saying one thing to one audience and another behind closed doors, pointing to past promises that appear to have been either revised or abandoned. The Prime Minister specifically referenced Starmer's earlier pledges on abolishing university tuition fees and renationalising key industries, which have since been either softened or dropped from the Labour platform. Starmer, in turn, defended his party's policy direction, asserting that his focus is on delivering practical, achievable results for working people rather than engaging in what he described as ideological purity. He argued that circumstances have changed since those early pledges were made and that a future Labour government would need to operate within a difficult economic context. While verbal sparring in Parliament is nothing new, Starmer's tone during the exchange seemed more impassioned than usual. At one point, he appeared visibly frustrated as he responded to repeated interruptions and accusations, saying, "I refuse to be lectured by a government that has left this country with rising prices, crumbling public services, and a shrinking economy." Clips from the session quickly made their way onto social media platforms, with some viewers interpreting Starmer's responses as a sign of strong leadership under pressure, while others saw them as a moment of political vulnerability. Some headlines described it as a meltdown, while supporters argued it was a rare display of justified anger in the face of political posturing. Political commentators have been quick to weigh in on the incident, with responses falling largely along partisan lines. Some praised Starmer for showing passion and standing his ground, pointing out that his frustration reflects genuine concern for the public's hardships. Others argued that the opposition leader failed to provide clear answers on why certain policy positions have changed. Polling data from recent weeks suggests that while Labour continues to lead the Conservatives in national voting intention, confidence in Starmer's leadership has seen modest fluctuations. Some voters express admiration for his calm and methodical approach, while others still seek clarity on his long-term vision. Notably, media coverage of the parliamentary session has been relatively balanced. The BBC highlighted the sharp political divide underscored by the debate, while The Guardian described it as a tense but not unusual day at Westminster. On the other hand, more right-leaning outlets focused on the apparent inconsistency in Labour's messaging. As the next general election draws nearer, every moment in Parliament is increasingly scrutinised not just by political analysts, but by the voting public. This particular exchange serves as a microcosm of the broader struggle both main parties face, appealing to a diverse electorate while managing internal pressures and external expectations. For Labour, the challenge lies in maintaining unity while presenting a clear and credible alternative to the current government. For Starmer, moments like these are double-edged. They can either project strength or expose perceived weaknesses, depending on how they're framed and received. The debate in Parliament raises important questions about political accountability, consistency, and leadership. How should parties adapt to changing circumstances without appearing untrustworthy? Is it better to stick rigidly to old promises, or to revise policies in response to new realities? What's clear is that British politics is entering a period of heightened intensity. With economic pressures mounting and public trust in politicians fragile, leaders across the spectrum will face increasing scrutiny not only for what they promise, but for how they respond when challenged. What did you make of the exchange in Parliament? Do you think it showed strong leadership or exposed political uncertainty? We'd love to hear your views in the comments. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our future coverage of UK politics, key debates, and the road to the next general election. Stay informed. Stay curious. And as always, thanks for watching.